Texas Congressman Ron Paul. Now, you may not have heard about Ron Paul. He's trailing Huckabee and McCain in a distant third place. But Paul has some active supporters right here in Montreal. And Heather Saarela was handing out Ron Paul flyers on the streets of Montreal on Saturday. She's a Montrealer, originally from Atlanta, Georgia, and she joins us in the studio. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me, Bernie.
So, what made you decide to campaign for Ron Paul on the streets of Montreal?
Well, I originally started looking into the candidates last year, and to be honest, I took a good look at the Democrats because I wasn't very happy with what was going on with the Bush administration. In my search, I came across an interview which was by Tucker Carlson of MSNBC.
Right, a well-known conservative media person.
And the woman was talking about a candidate named Ron Paul, and I had never heard of this man in my life. Now, my dad's heard of him, but I had never heard of him. So I started my fervent research of Ron Paul and his stances on most of the issues that I find a big problem in my country right now.
So what are some of those issues that you connected with?
Two of the major issues are, of course, the war in Iraq and Afghanistan, and our foreign policy in general. The second issue, of course, is the economy. Our dollar is crashing, and we just seem to be printing more money out of thin air.
Yeah, but it's the Republicans doing that.
I know.
So, but still, so then you connect with Ron Paul's policies?
Right, on many of his policies, and the most important ones I think that are facing my country, because he's the only one right now that has a viable plan and who's been very verbal about the plan to make it, bring our troops home, end these wars, and change our foreign policy.
Change foreign policy, if I understand Ron Paul's policy properly, it's to become more disengaged on the planet.
Well, we're at $9 trillion in debt right now. We really can't afford to be policing the world right now at all.
How many people have you been able to connect to in Montreal?
In Montreal, I find that most people that I speak to have never heard of Ron Paul. He doesn't get much, if you look at the debates, he doesn't get much media attention. He has a huge grassroots support system, so I think a lot of people that I talk to here find it very interesting that he raised the most money out of all the Republicans.
What is it? Why is it? How many Quebecers do you think would identify with Paul's libertarian approach to politics? I mean, we have a tradition of government playing a pretty big role in people's lives here.
Right. And what specific issues?
Well, health, for example. I mean, universal social health care. I'm just wondering, what do Quebecers tell you?
Well, they are interested in, like you said, the social health care, but a lot are also dissatisfied, and some even have to go to the U.S. to get treatment. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Yes, there have been periods where people are going to the United States to get the treatment for cancer.
So he has more of a privatized plan, which would actually give people the best sort of treatment that they could get at an affordable cost. If you look on his website, all the information is available on that.
Now, most Montrealers can't vote in this election. What do you hope to accomplish by talking to them about your candidate?
I really hope to open people's eyes as to what's actually going on in North America. I don't know if people have heard of what is called the North American Union. This is also on Ron Paul's website, www.ronpaul2008.com. So you can go and look at all of this. North American Union is supposedly supposed to join Mexico, Canada, and the U.S. A lot of people don't know about that. Just that fact alone, I think, might wake up some Quebecers who might not, be happy about that sort of thing.
At this point, though, I mean, it does look like John McCain is going to be the Republican.
Right.
Are you going to vote for him?
No, in the U.S. we actually, thank God, have an option to write in a candidate. Now, some people write in Daffy Duck or, Mickey Mouse. I'm going to write in Ron Paul if that's my last option.
And have you met any Democrats in Montreal who are going to be voting in the campaign as well?
There's a couple of people in my group that are Americans, so yes, I know that in Montreal they are going to be voting for him, or we already have, a lot of us. But it's it's really hard, like you said before. It's hard to find people that have looked at a Republican candidate because of the name that Bush has presented. I think Bush has lost his way. I think the Republicans used to run on a humble foreign policy, and that people just look at the parties, so that's not good.
Yeah, but here in Montreal, Quebec, and Americas we're speaking to, because of the issues you've just raised, seem more comfortable with either Barack Obama or Hillary Clinton.
Well, no. If you look at the economic stimulus plans on each of them have presented, actually Obama and Clinton have presented $70 million stimulus packages. This is more printing money out of thin air instead of making actions like Ron Paul states in his that he would like to, and bring the troops home and make some more actions now instead of printing more money out of thin air.
Thanks for coming in.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me.
Heather Saarela is a Ron Paul supporter. She's living in Montreal. We want to hear from you if you're following the U.S. election, if you're supporting either side, why. Our talkback line 597-7222, 597-7222. Our email address is homerun@cbc.ca, and our text messaging is 22222.